Biden calls for a tripling of tariffs on Chinese steel as he makes the economic pitch in Pittsburgh. President Joe Biden delivers the remarks at United Steel Workers headquarters in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on April 17. CNN, President Joe Biden calls on his administration to ratchet up the pressure on the Chinese steel industry as he brings his economy competition pitch to Pittsburgh, the heart of the American steel industry on Wednesday, part of the three-day campaign trail swing through battleground Pennsylvania. The bottom line is I want a fair competition with China, not conflict, Biden said in Pittsburgh on Wednesday. And we're in a stronger position to win the economic competition in the 21st century against China or anywhere else because we are investing in America and American workers again. The domestic steel industry remains critical to building everything from cars to appliances to roads and bridges, and Biden has made investment in American manufacturing the key plank of his economic policy, even as voters continue to give him low marks on his handling of the economy. The president made an economic pitch around the tax policy and visited with union workers in his hometown of Scranton on Tuesday, and he will travel to Philadelphia for campaign event on Thursday, seeking to set up a stark split screen as former President Donald Trump spends much of his week in a New York City courtroom for a criminal trial. Speaking from the United Steelworkers headquarters, Biden called it on United States Trade Representative Catherine Tai to consider tripling the existing 7.5% tariff rate on Chinese steel and aluminum through a review of the Section 301 tariff rate pending the conclusion of the four-year review. Officials expect the ongoing review to be completed soon, and Thai could take action to enhance the effectiveness of the tariffs based on its findings, the senior official said. China's commerce ministry responded on Wednesday saying it firmly opposes the continual review. America's shipbuilding industry lost its competitive advantage many years ago due to the overprotection, it claimed, citing multiple U.S. research reports. The U.S. airport is full of false accusations, interpolating normal trade and investment activities as harming U.S. national security and corporate interest and blaming China for its own industrial problems. This lacks factual basis and goes against economic common sense, it said in a statement. The National Economic Council Director Larry Brainerd described Biden's call as strategic, balanced, and targeted, saying it would safeguard the U.S. from China's effort to undercut domestic steel manufacturing. The president understands we must invest in American manufacturing, but we also have to protect those investments and those workers from unfair export associated with China's industrial overcapacity, which she said poses a serious risk to the future of the American steel and aluminum industry. Brainerd said this approach was developed in close partnership with industry stakeholders and unions. Biden also highlighted the Department of Commerce's effort to crack down on China's attempt to flood the market with cheap product through anti-dumping and countervailing duties, among other actions. They are not competing, they are cheating, Biden said of China. They are cheating, and we are seeing the damage here in America. The trip comes after Biden last month publicly opposed the controversial $14 billion deal for Japan's Nippon Steel to purchase U.S. steel. U.S. Steel shareholders approved the deal last week, but it still needs approval from the Justice Department and the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. In March, Biden said it is vital for U.S. Steel to remain an American steel company that is domestically owned and operated. He reiterated those sentiments on Wednesday, telling the crowd to cheers that it should remain a totally American company. American owned, American operated by American Union steel workers, the best in the world. And that's going to happen, I promise you, he said. Obvi- Officials downplayed the concerns that the potential tariffs could lead to additional inflation. If taken, these actions will not increase inflation, but they will protect American jobs and the steel industry, a senior official said, suggesting that there will be no impact on inflation at all. Residual inflation is not coming from goods, the official added, and these actions will not change that. Our trade actions are actually strategic and balanced. President Biden will not impose ineffective across-the-board tariffs that would increase the cost and harm hundreds of thousands of jobs, the official said. In fact, the import of steel from China accounted for about 0.6% of total U.S. steel demand, so it's quite small, and we see no inflationary pass through. But it is important for us to get ahead of China's new export surge and their continued pressure on prices that makes it hard for American steel companies to compete. Still, U.S. consumers will ultimately pay any tariffs on import, not the exporting country, which can lead to increased prices. The United Steelworkers, a key union representing workers in the steel industry, endorsed Biden's re-election campaign last month. Biden's Pennsylvania push comes as he's also seeking to move the needle with the voters who continue to hold the sore views about the president handling of the economy. Recent polling has also shown a close contest between Biden and Trump fewer than 7 months from election day. Trump made tariffs against China a central feature of his global economic strategy, and Biden has largely maintained them, despite external criticism. By calling for a tariffs hike, he says would protect American workers. Biden also appears to be attempting to insulate himself from Trump's criticism that he is weak on China. A new tariff hike could threaten Biden's attempt to add repairing what has been a tense relations between the world's two largest economies. China has denied accusations of overcapacity and claims the U.S. is seeking to stifle competition through protectionist trade policies. Biden has sought in recent months to stabilize the fraught relationship with China, including a direct conversations with President Xi Jinping. The effort appeared to bear fruit this week when Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke with his counterpart for the first time in a year. Correction, this story has been updated to correct the location of where Biden will deliver his remarks on Wednesday. CNN's Chris Isidore Alinit Sanj, Shane Dong, and Kevin Liptak contributed to this report.